Hello and welcome to Thursday Night Live. I'm your host, Dr. Rita Louise, and thank you all for tuning into the show today. So I have a really interesting topic, and I'm going to call it a blessing in disguise. So this is a quote from Peter McWilliams. Pain, any pain, emotional, physical, mental, has a message. The information it has about our life can be remarkably specific. Once we get pain's message and follow its advice, the pain goes away. The truth is, most people don't recognize the source of their problems. Typically, when we think about creating and maintaining health, we only think about the physical part of our makeup. We don't pay much attention to our thoughts, feelings, and emotions, even though they're intimately connected to the state of our health and well-being. To a skilled observer, like a medical intuitive, like myself, issues such as diabetes, cancer, or heart disease only represent a symptom of a much larger pattern of disorder and disharmony inside our body. Disease is seen as the manifestation of some undesirable condition that has been brought into physical form so that it can be dealt with and eliminated. It can be thought of as a reflection of the conflict between our inner state and our outer existence, or as our soul trying to get our attention. It works to let us know that our true self is being thwarted, or that we are being pulled in two directions at once. When we experience physical, emotional, or even mental discomfort, our bodies are saying, "Excuse me, there's something going wrong. I'm imbalanced and I want to move back into wholeness." When we experience pain, illness, or disease, on the other hand, it's our body's way of saying to us, "Hey, I have something I want you to pay attention to. I've been trying to get you to notice me for months. Now you have to acknowledge me." From this perspective, every issue that manifests in the physical body represents an aspect of ourself that needs healing. It can be thought of as the final stage of a much deeper issue or complaint. It's an indication that there is resistance somewhere in our energetic system. It is a sign that something is out of balance and the body is looking to bring itself back into wholeness. Elda Evans, in her 1926 book, The Psychological Study of Cancer, says, "Cancer is a symbol, as is most illness, of something going wrong in the patient's life, a warning to him to take another road." Canker sores, for example, are the body's way of telling us that we're withholding communication, which is now festering inside. Or a bladder infection may literally let us know just how pissed off we really are. Our bodies are always sending us signals, but more often than not, we ignore them. Instead of paying attention to the aches, pains, frustrations, anxieties, and stresses we experience, we allow our conscious mind to overrule them. As opposed to following the guidance they offer us, we push them to the side and tell ourselves that what we're experiencing is unimportant. We allow our ambitions, our fears, our jealousies, or our greed to rule. Yet each of our shoulda, woulda, coulda are aspects of ourselves that are in need of healing and have nothing to do with our true inner self, nor the communication of our souls. Unfortunately, we're taught to focus our attention on the expression of the external world. We're taught to ignore our deepest wants, needs, and desires. In the end, we're left with little understanding of our inner nature and how to recognize the messages of our souls. Inadvertently, we become disconnected from our bodies and end up dulling our mind and emotions. We numb ourselves with drugs and alcohol. We watch television, play video games, or pursue other external distractions that overload our senses. We spend our days lying around, overeating, or keeping ourselves constantly busy, all in an attempt to avoid conflicts between our inner and outer worlds. We don't pay attention to the message provided to us by our soul. However, it will get our attention in symptoms such as obsession, worry, mental anguish, fear, addictions, violence, heart disease, high blood pressure, diabetes, or cancer. If its message is received, acknowledged, and acted upon, health and harmony will ensue. If it's ignored, the problems being experienced will intensify until we finally get the message. It's only then that balance can be restored. All of our pain, suffering, illness, and disease endeavor to guide us toward perfection. So while it might seem bad or negative on the outside, the potential for transformation and change it offers is immense. Those who accept the challenge change present often find that it can actually be a blessing in disguise. Most of us, however, change only when we have to. In fact, the majority of us spend a lot of time and energy running away from ourselves as opposed to changing. As we begin to become more aware of our bodies, our thoughts, beliefs, feelings, and emotions, we can start to see the patterns of actions and reactions that have become habitual responses to life's challenges. Granted, sometimes recognizing these patterns in ourselves isn't easy, but it's an important step in our ability to transform our lives and ourselves. Without this awareness, we'll never be able to understand the impact our thoughts, feelings, and emotions have on our health. It has been found that those who benefit the most were able to bring health and wholeness back in their lives were those who were willing to examine all areas of their being. While health on physical levels, implies freedom from physical pain, health on emotional levels implies freedom from emotional pain, entails the recognition of both our positive and negative feelings. It means taking the time to identify what we are feeling and expressing these feelings appropriately. It means we are willing to face our fears and confront the truths about ourselves. On mental level, health implies that we take responsibility for our thoughts and behaviors. Our world is a reflection of our state of mind. This includes our beliefs, expectations, and assumptions. On soul levels, health means creating skills of self-awareness and conscious decision-making. Through self-examination, we can often uncover patterns of thoughts or behaviors that contribute to the mental and emotional stress, as well as the physical tensions we're experiencing in our body. These might take the form of a rigid attitude, a particular habit, or an expectation or pretense that acts as a barrier or obstruction to our true self. By identifying these barriers, we can begin to let them go. With it, we must be willing to endure temporary pain, discomfort, or hardship, and recognize that they are part of the process of making us whole. Many people think disease is cruel. Disease, however, provides us with an opportunity to work through internal conflicts and learn to accept ourselves fully, including the positive, negative, desirable, and undesirable aspects of ourselves. Often it is only through personal and professional crisis, extraordinary circumstances, profound suffering, broken promises, missed opportunity, life-altering events, and even the diagnosis of a terminal illness that we can become clear about who we are. The trick is to start paying attention to the signs and signals your body is receiving now. When you feel anxious, confused, uncomfortable, or frustrated, it is an indication your body is trying to tell you something important. As you learn more about yourself and becoming increasingly aware to your different parts, you can begin to recognize the aspects of yourself that are seeking expression and integrate them. At that point, the dis-ease may no longer be necessary. It is only when we're whole, body, mind, and spirit, that health can return naturally. The journey to wholeness requires that you look honestly, openly, and with courage into yourself, into the dynamics behind that lie behind what you feel, what you perceive, what you value, and how you act. It is a journey through your defenses and beyond so that you can experience consciously the nature of your personality, face it, face what it has produced in your life, and choose to change that. Gary Zukav. So I hope that makes sense to you. I think that, based on what we've talked about on the show for months, it kind of pulls that all together, talking about the conscious mind and the subconscious mind and mindfulness and raising your awareness, because it makes it so that you can avoid getting sick and the disease process, but you can use those issues inside of yourself to untangle what's going on inside. So, if you have any questions or comments about what I wrote or what I shared with you today, please do put it in the comment section. I would love to answer any questions that you might have. As always, this show is brought to you by soulhealer.com, where you can schedule a private consultation with me to get a medical intuition evaluation, energy medicine session, or intuitive counseling session. I would love to talk to you guys. So soulhealer.com. It's also brought to you by the Institute of Applied Energetics. That's appliedenergeticsinstitute.com, where you can become a medical intuitive counselor, or certified energy medicine practitioner. And if you go to that webpage, appliedenergeticsinstitute.com, you can download my free 50-page, my free Jumpstart Your Intuition guide. And again, that is at appliedenergeticsinstitute.com. Okay. And one last thing. So if you are watching this show in a recorded format and you want to join the fun and you want to hang around and get a free on-air psychic reading, 7 p.m. Central every Thursday night, go to my YouTube channel. That's Just Energy Radio, 3 words, Just Energy Radio. Click on the live link and it will allow you to get into the chat and you can join us here on air. How cool is that? Okay. So I'm going to make this comment. You guys are killing me. Okay, so comments started coming in. Let me see. Is it going to give me a time? At 1:45. But my personal favorite that I've seen so far was Yvonne. And I'm scrolling ahead, Yvonne, so I haven't got to you yet. But I'm going to put this up. And it says, "Hi, Dr. Rita. How are you? Great hair. Can I get a reading number 3, please? Yvonne, I should scoot you to the front of the line because you do the good hair thing. But I'll take care of you." I'm going to go back to the beginning, but thank you, Yvonne. Okay. All right. So the first one in the chute was Master Player. He says, "Evening, a number 1, please." And Master Player, you sure can, a number 1. But you didn't say I had good hair, but it's not that great today. But it is what it is. Okay, so Master Player, that's your card for today. Oh, and it has been brought to my attention that anybody that's listening that has not participated in the show, and I know that there are you guys that are hiding in the background, not saying hello, come in and say hello. So the 1 through 3, where people are giving a number, the 1 through 3 is basically how many times I'm shuffling the cards. It's not you're getting a different reading. It just is how many times I'm shuffling the cards on your behalf. 1 through 3. Okay. All right. So that's your card for today. So Master Player, I kind of get the impression that you've had a bit of a rough week. I feel like you've kind of, I don't want to say close the door, but you're making separation. I feel like you're looking forward to the weekend and just having some downtime. I am hoping that this weekend you actually do that and give yourself some downtime. I just feel like there's quite a bit of stress locked up in your body. So go do something fun, go do something interesting or that's interesting to you. Okay. Okay, let's see. Unar, hey Unar. Good evening, Dr. Rita. May I have a number 2? Unar, you sure can have a number 2. Okay, and that's your card for today. So, Unar, I just get the impression that, the phrase that I'm getting is that you're ready for something new. I feel like there was, and I'm just going to say this in a very generic way, stuff going on fairly recently that you like created a barrier for, that you kind of pushed it back so that you could have your space for yourself. I feel like you too want to unwind and don't really know what that next step is, but I feel like you want the next step to be your step for yourself, not your step, but it's being pushed by all these other people. And spirit doesn't work that way. Spirit works in its own time. And so allow that to happen. I do want to make the communication that I feel like you have opened that door, you have put that request out, and I feel like it has been heard, but now it's just giving it some time to pull itself together and come into your life. But again, sometimes the way that it comes in is not how we expect it, and we have to be open to the universe providing for us in the way it wants to. All right, ERRT Radio. Hey, dude. Okay, Dr. Rita, may I have a reading number 3, please? Thank you. You sure can, ERRT Radio. Okay, and that's your card for today. So ERRT Radio, I'm kind of getting the impression that something came up that, and I'm just going to say bothered you, upset you, kind of messed with your energy. And so there was the thing, but then there was you're noticing how your energy was being affected. And then there is you kind of getting upset because your energy was being affected and you really weren't, have been a little more challenged in finding, excuse me, that center place for yourself. And I just want to let you know that, that happened. Those are the times where it's really about nurturing yourself. In that conflict, I feel like there's a lesson for you, something that you should have done or chose not to do. A lot of the times it's we choose not to do the thing, so you don't have to keep repeating this pattern in yourself and in your life. And I feel like once you have that aha moment, all of it will shift and just dissolve. Well, once you have that aha moment, and if there's an action tied to the aha moment, then you have to do the action, which sometimes sucks. then it will all unravel and unfold. Okay. Hi, Amy. She says, hi, Dr. Rita. Gosh, it's Thursday already. I know. Happy Thursday, Amy. All right, Amy. So you didn't put in a number. I'm just giving you a number because I already started shuffling for you. So I'm going to give you a 2. All right. And that's your card for today. So, Amy, I'm kind of feeling like this relationship, and I'm just going to say possibility sitting there. I feel like, I mean, you're actually kind of funny. Like, there's kind of interest, but then there's kind of, do I even really want to be bothered? And I feel like you're trying to sort through that. I feel like on some levels, it's like it's almost taking too much energy to even have to have those thoughts and try to figure out what you're thinking on that. There's part of me that wants to say, just enjoy it and have fun. um, I know that for some people that can be a little bit challenging to do. um, and I'm just going to say this out loud. And Amy, this isn't just you, this is to anybody listening, but if you're the type of person that gets easily involved in a relationship, usually it's when the barrier of sex is crossed, and it takes the relationship and makes it deeper. It brings up emotions as opposed to being able to have separation between you and that other person, and being able to observe and be friends and be like, oh my God, they're a jerk. And so that is something that I would recommend to anyone, especially if you have chronic relationship issues, is to, you can like them, you can flirt with them, you can go out with them, but if you're a chronic bottom of the barrel picker, don't have sex with them, not right away, because that will just change the dynamics and just make it be harder to be realistic in the whole thing. All right, Miss Amy? All right, Karen, good evening. Can I have a reading, please? Number 3. God, this is interesting. So I haven't even gone to 7 o'clock yet. I wish there was a way that I could make it that you guys couldn't post, because that just don't seem right. It just don't seem right. 3. And Karen, that's your card for today. Whew. So, Karen, one of the things that you're showing me is that I feel like your body has moved into a releasing place. I feel like there was a problem at hand and the problem got resolved. You figured it out. The people went away, whatever that was, whatever was creating tension in you. I feel like that energy has shifted. It has resolved in your space, and you have moved into my body is draining all of that excess energy that I've been holding on to due to this whole situation. Excuse me. and I just get the impression that it kind of has left you feeling tired, and I'm feeling like that tired is that extra energy that you've been carrying around. So maybe this weekend you can just use it to nurture yourself and bring yourself back energetically from that kind of drained place you've been. Okay, so Yvonne, I have to tell you, when I saw that, I should have just moved you to the front, and I am going to apologize in advance because I should have just moved you to the front. All right, and she would like a number 3. Okay, Yvonne, number 3. And as always, if these readings are resonating with you, I would love the comments, any comment down below. Okay. Okay, Yvonne. So that one's for you. Ooh. So Yvonne, I just get the impression that you're in an interesting place for you. I feel like you've really taken a step back, and I'm not even going to call it observer mode. I'm going to put it more like you're in the receiving mode. If something comes to you, I feel like you're open to receiving it. I feel like you've moved from, I'm going to chase that thing down and then kill it, and then I have it, to, well, you were an observer and now you're in more of a, well, I'm going to watch and I'm going to just stand here. This is the picture you're showing me. I'm just going to stand here with my arms open and wide to receive whatever blessings I'm going to get. Great job. Great job. Okay, Christine. Hi, Christine. May I get a reading number 2? You sure can. So Amy and whoever, has anybody seen Marco? I mean, he hasn't been here in the last few weeks. I'm hoping I didn't hurt his feelings. Okay, number 2. That's your card today, Christine. So Christine, this is a really interesting energy. It's a great energy, though. So I get the impression that something has happened, and I'll say this week. I mean, it feels very recent, where you, I'm going to say, stood up for yourself. I'm not even feeling like it was, I put a boundary out, but you put yourself out there and you stood tall and proud and owned your space. That's how I want to say it. And you owned your space and didn't allow other people to push you down, make you feel bad, whatever. And I feel like you're looking around going, wow, I'm proud, and I'm proud, because I feel like that's kind of a new dynamic, or a dynamic you have not been able to tap into in a while. So good job on that. And own that place, enjoy that place, our space moves around constantly. So when we have these like moments of high, it is really great to just savor the moment. Christine, savor this moment. Okay, let's see. Hi, Nina. Oop. Click. All right, click. Hi, Nina. All right. Hi, Ricky. Good evening, Dr. Rita. Thank you so much. May I have a number 1 reading, please? Thank you. Yes, you can. Ricky, that's your card for today. So, Ricky, I get the impression that there is something that's happened again recently because I see you guys all the time, but you were able to, and the only way that I can think to express it is you put the period at the end of the sentence where, like the light was turned on and you're looking at this situation and going, seriously, I'm not doing that anymore. And I feel like, you've made this decision, you've made yourself be the choice. Um, but I'm feeling like whatever that was, there is an ending to it. Um, I feel like it was just and it was appropriate. Now, I am going to make the commentary that I feel like whatever that was might try to make itself manifest in your life again. And if it does, just remind yourself that you already put the period at the end of the sentence, and anything that would happen after my hit on it, it is really just coming from trying to manipulate you. Okay? Interesting. Okay, let's see. See, Amy, I had a psychic reading. I already gave you a number 2. Hi, Veronica. She said the body keeps score. Yes, it does. Hi, JK. First time. Very excited to be here. Well, I'm very happy that you're here. And if you would like a reading, there's Marco. If you would like to get a reading, just respond, hey, Dr. Rita, I would like to get a reading. Your hair looks great, even though it doesn't look all that good tonight. And then a number from 1 to 3, and the number from 1 to 3 represents how many times I will shuffle the cards. Okay, thank you. And then Yvonne says, hi, everyone. Love that opening reading. Totally agree. Thanks, Yvonne. Hi, Marco. I've been missing you. I almost Skyped you because I haven't seen you in a while. So I'm glad you're here. Marco says, Rita, why no lipstick? I have some on. I picked a kind of dark color today, which makes it look like I don't. That's okay. I looked in the camera and I'm like, all right, I know you put makeup on, but yeah. All right. Unar says, interesting topic tonight. Stress can kill you, I hear. Yes, it can. Jeannie. So Jeannie's a good friend of mine. She's a ghosty person that used to live near me, but not anymore. Just kind of near me, but not. Hi, Jeannie. Jeannie, if you would like a reading, I'm sure you heard. Just request 1 through 3, how many times I'll shuffle. All right. Marco says, Rita has never read me, and I've known her for 12 years. I know, a long time. All right, so JK says, great to hear. Number 3, please. You sure got it, JK. So my brother's initials are JK, and I'm like, okay, you haven't made any smart-ass comments, so you can't be my brother, because he would already be acting out. All right, JK, this is your card for today. So, JK, when I look at your energy, I get the impression that there is something exciting and new that you're looking at putting your energy into. Or this new project that you've just started. I feel like there's a lot of enthusiasm tied to it. I feel like the picture and the goal you have at the end of this tunnel is very bright and light. I feel like, that you have really been trying to follow spirit. I don't feel like there's a lot of ego tied to this, at least not at this point in time. Um, and I feel like this whole thing is achievable, but I feel like you have to have some endurance. I feel like endurance sometimes can be your issue. And so I'm just going to call you on that. And instead of trying to get from point A to Z, and I've said this on the show before, ask, what do I need to do today? What do I need to work on tomorrow? What do I need to do next? And that will keep you more in the moment and keep things moving forward easier for you. Okay, Karen says, great topic. It took a diagnosis of mono and 4 months to recover to teach me that I need to start tuning into my body and honoring it, what it needs. Good job, Karen. I mean, not about the mono part, but okay. Amy says, one of the most profoundly helpful books I've ever read was one from one of your courses, Living with Joy by Sonia Roman. Yeah, that's a great, great book. It clicked to not need the disease and traumatizing drama to make changes. And that book I love. So there's this book by Sonia Roman called Living with Joy. And I love that book because one, it's really high vibrating. So if you're kind of in a funky place, you can just read it and feel your energy shifting. But it really causes you to start looking inside as to what's going on. It's a very gentle book. It's a very loving book. Thank you for bringing that up, Amy. Thank you. So ERRT Radio says no math cards. All right, Nina says, could I have a number 3? You sure can, Nina. Okay, and that's your card for today. So Nina, what you're showing me is that there's this part of you that, and I kind of mentioned this before with someone else, but that you're out there and ready to really expose yourself to the world. But I feel like there is some fear. And so while the door is open, you're like looking outside, like it's raining out. So I think I'll just stand here in the threshold and watch the rain. I'm feeling like there's more. I mean, you keep showing me this image of you like going back into the house and then going to the door and then having moments where you run out the door and go do stuff and then come back in, and doing this cycle of going out and going in. And maybe that's what you need to do, because maybe being out in the sunlight all the time is too bright for you. And maybe you need to have that cycle of darkness so that you can maintain and restore your energy, versus being out there, exposed. I mean, because your energy is pretty sensitive, and people that are sensitive usually need to have that recovery time, and so maybe that's what they're trying to share with me, to share with you is, this part of you wants to be out there and do all of this stuff. And maybe you need to consider or have it be okay with you that it is more cyclical. Okay. Okay. Let's see. Jan G. Hey, Jan G. She would like a reading number 3. You sure can. Well, we got all kinds of people in here that I haven't seen in a long time. All right, and we're doing a number 3. And that's your card for today, Jan. So it's interesting, usually I look at people's energy, and for some reason you put me like into your body where I'm looking through your eyes, and you're showing me this like vast opportunity out there for you. Um, there is a calmness and peacefulness that is tied to it. But in the same breath, there's also this new exciting adventure where there's a little bit of fear in there, because I feel like this is unknown territory, unexplored territory for you. Don't be afraid. Just enjoy it. Enjoy the ride, because I feel like there's so much good and positive that to come out of this journey, because I definitely feel like it's a journey for you. I also feel like you don't really know where this journey is taking you, but you don't need to, because there's going to be this level of calmness and satisfaction and gratitude that you are going to receive as you take the steps down this road. Very cool. Very cool. All right. Let's see. Sandy says, "Hi, Rita. Glad to see you. Please, number 3, you're so welcome." All right, Sandy. And that's your card for today. And as always, if these readings are resonating with you, I would love to get the feedback. Also, if you want, you can, Sandy, I'm going to click you off here a second. You can go to my webpage, soulhealer.com/live, and leave a little something in the tip jar. There's a PayPal link, as well as shopping carts that you can use if you want to use like a Visa or MasterCard kind of thing. But again, soulhealer.com/live. I would really appreciate anything that you would be wanting to offer. All right. All right. Turn that back off. Remove. Okay. We're back. And I'm back to Sandy. Sandy, I kind of get the impression that your life is seeming a little bit like an amusement park ride, but you dearly didn't want the e-ticket. I feel like there's part of you that, you keep showing me like this roller coaster, and you're kind of jostling around and you're hanging on for dear life. The ride is going to go where it's going to go, and it's going to be bumpy the way that it's bumpy. What they're suggesting to me to suggest to you is to just surrender to what's going on. This will change. When we're scared, when we're in fear, when we're hanging on tight, it just makes it so that it becomes more challenging on the inside to deal with. And this is a really terrible example. But they say that people who get in car crashes that are really drunk don't get hurt as bad, because their body is so pliable that it just kind of bounces around. And I'm suggesting that to you, Sandy. Instead of getting rigid, instead of getting upset, just sit there and go, oh, okay, because it's going to make it will make it so that you can at least be more neutral to what's going on, and make the process of this cycle that you're in be more tolerable, be more manageable to you on an emotional level. Because when you're trying to control it, when you're trying to navigate it, it just becomes more challenging and more emotionally challenging to get through it. All right, Sandy? All right. ERRT Radio says it can't be too soon. Well, I hope so. Hey, Anton, nice seeing you. Wow. Wait. Okay, if I wasn't on air, I would be laying on the floor doing the Fred Sanford. It's like, my heart, my heart. Hi, Chris. Oh, you need a reading. And you're going to get, let's see. I have to count here. 3. You're going to get a 6. I only do 1 through 3, but you're going to get a 6 because you're number 6. And nobody else ever asked me for a 6. 3, 4. They needed a good shuffle anyway. Okay. All right. That's your card for today, Miss Chris. Okay, so I want to say that you feel whole right now, but the thing I keep getting is that you have this feeling, well, I was right, because you were. And there's this little part inside of you that really wants to laugh because you were right. Even if the other person doesn't think that you were right, but you know that you're right because you're right, usually. But I feel like in this situation, it's like validating to you. It's making you feel whole and complete, even though I feel like there are some detractors around you that are in dissent to what's going on. But I feel like for you, it feels good. Like you're not taking on their dissent. So cool. See, I kept that nice and generic, but I know that you know. Marco, I'm not tired. Okay, I'm lying. I really am tired. All right, so Veronica would like a reading. Veronica, I am going to give you a number 1. A number 1. All right, and that's your card for today. So this is interesting, Veronica, because the word that I want to use for you, or the phrase, is standing still. I feel like you're not in this like go, 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 do, and I need to do this, and I should do this, and I could do this, and I would do this, and all of these kind of ego-driven things. I feel like you're just being and just in this. I'm not even sure how else to explain it. In this standstill place, holding firm, standing tall, being. That's all I got, really. I feel like you have made the decision that you don't really want to be in victim energy anymore. And I feel like this has kind of manifested out of that. I feel like it's a kind of new space for you, but I feel like it's a good place also. So good job. All right. Let's see. Unar said, Dr. Rita, I love the advice you give. Tonight was good as usual. Thank you. You're so welcome. All right. Christine said, very on point. You're very welcome. All right. Jessica says, good evening, Rita. Woo, are some changes coming? Your advice was wow. Reading, please. You sure can have one. All right, so I'm going to give you a number 2. So usually people give me a number 1 through 3. So I'm going to give you a number 2. And that's your card for today. All right, so Jessica, I'm going to be kind of mean and a little blunt here, but there definitely is a reason why I'm saying this. Well, there's always a reason, but I feel like there's part of you that's trying to be like more spiritual, more open, more connected, you know, woo, whatever, however you want to express that. But I feel very strongly that there's, I'm going to say, the old you, the not so healed parts of you, the parts of you that you look at with shame, and don't really want other people to see that you have that are behind you. And you're trying to mask them and keep them back there. And what I'm saying is, and I'm saying this from the most loving place, it's like when you don't own those funky parts of yourself, then you're not really being authentic to yourself and to other people. I mean, I see where you're trying to go, and I applaud you for where you're trying to go, but I just am like putting a little course correction in there for you. You know, and I have found in myself that the more I'm willing to own and accept, you know, that I had a crappy childhood, you know, that I've gone through all of these challenges, that I've been married too many times to like narcissistic people, you know, and I'm willing to admit that information, you know, publicly. Like, I don't even care. I tell people I don't have any shame anymore. It's freeing. And so all of those skeletons that you have in that closet can just be part of your life journey, because it is part of your life journey, and it just is. And there's not anything to be ashamed of. So there. And I love you. So there. All right. Amy says, the only person I've met that could have been a possibility lives too far away. Everyone else is in the friend zone only. And Amy, I don't know where that was coming from. To be honest with you, it was just there. It was just there. So I just was passing it along. Maybe it just hasn't happened yet. Or maybe they're doing it and you just haven't noticed. Don't know. So JK says, it's not your brother. And I'm like, JK, if you were my brother, I would be laughing because he's really kind of funny. Hi, Jamie. New here. Yeah, Jamie. Well, thank you for coming, Jamie. And you sure can have a number 2. Okay, and that's your card for today. Okay, so Jamie, I feel like and I'm not quite sure if it's being presented to you as a choice, but that's kind of how I'm seeing it. Between doing what you need to do, and I put in that category like, cleaning the bathtub, doing taxes, that kind of stuff, and doing something where there's some fun and excitement and joy in your life. I feel like there has been recently too much of the have-tos and shouldas and couldas, and not as much of the I want and I need and I desire and I would like part. And I would love to challenge you to spend some time doing something fun, something that is bringing you joy into your life, because I feel like it's been a little bit too heavy, like too heavy. um and people that live in that have to work and do all of this stuff tend to get adrenal fatigue. um But when you get some joy and have some fun, it helps to balance that whole thing out inside of you. Okay. All right, Don. I hope you're my last person, because Don's here. You're late again, and you can get a number two, and you got in just in the nick of time. Just in the nick of time. All right, Don, what do you want? You want that. Okay, that's your card for today. So, Don, I get the impression that there was something, again, fairly recently that triggered you, but you are in the release phase right now, which is good. So I'm not sure how long ago the original trigger happened. Um, my hope is that it happened in this last week. I really can't like put my finger on it, but that you are already in the releasing phase. It's one thing to get triggered. The measure is how long does it take to go from being triggered to be going into that releasing phase. I remember for myself, something would happen and it could take me 2-3 weeks to finally move into that releasing phase. Now, I mean, trust me, this week was fraught with challenges, but after I went and mowed my lawn because I had way too much energy to burn, I felt great. And it only like went on for a couple of hours. And it was just like, thank you that I was able to move past what was going on quickly. Okay. Michael Wesley. Oh my God, you guys are killing me. All right. So ERT Radio says, great show, Dr. Rita, great topic, and the readings were great. But Michael, I have to give you a reading here real quick because it's you, Michael. So, Marco, so you've known me for 12 years, but I've known Michael since, all right, I have to sit here and think about this. I'll just say the late 80s. So I've known him for like a really long time. Okay, you got this card too. All right, so let's see what this is meaning for you. So, Michael, this is kind of interesting. I feel like it's kind of in the same vein, having to do with releasing, but I'm feeling like for you, what has been coming up lately or recently is older stuff, older energy that is finally coming to the surface, and you are having the opportunity to let it go. The word that I'm feeling tied to it is forgiveness. Um, and I feel like there has been resentment, judgment. There's been emotional energy keeping it tied inside of you, and you've decided to just screw it and let it go. And so I feel like that's where that shift is coming from. So good job. But again, really, really old energy, not like it happened last week kind of thing. So cool. All right, guys, I'm just going to kind of read through this. I'm done reading because I'm already over time. Let's see. So Jan says, thank you. Very interesting. I have no idea what the opportunity is yet. I look forward to having it be presented. Jessica says, miss you, Rita. Miss you too, Jessica. Marco says, I'm Rita's hubby, number 5. Master Player says, great show tonight. Thank you, Master Player. Amy says, love the topic tonight. So look forward to your show every week. Thank you. Tips in the jar. Yes, see, everybody follow Amy to the tip jar. Soulhealer.com/live. Soulhealer.com/live. And also, let me throw this out there. This is my social media stuff. YouTube. I mean, basically, it's like Dr. Rita Louise. Just look for Dr. Rita Louise and follow me on these different social media things, even if you don't go to them all that much. I would appreciate it. Dot says, thank you, Dr. Rita. Jamie says, thank you, Rita. Your reading truly addressed my thoughts. Perfect. Thank you. And thank you for coming to the show. And Unar, I tipped you. Yay, Unar. But hey, no math card. Yeah, there won't be math cards. Now, there might be spelling cards. Anyway, guys, I'm out of here. So again, this show is brought to you by soulhealer.com, where you can schedule an appointment with me, Dr. Rita Louise, soulhealer.com, and also by the Institute of Applied Energetics. That's appliedenergeticsinstitute.com, where you can learn to be a medical intuitive counselor, or certified energy medicine practitioner. So guys, till next week, I'm Dr. Rita Louise. This is Thursday Night Live. Till then, be blessed.